Okay. All right. Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Let's see, who do we have with us today? All right. Let's see. Okay. Bao, good to see you. Carmen, Carol, Daniel, good to see you guys. Frank, Gareth, Jay, Kel, Linda, Maki, Marie, Marla, Martin, Mona, Omar, Reynolds, Shaman, Diego, Travis. All right. Thanks for showing up, guys. Day 7. I am pumped. Just finished my practice. I'm posting it right now in the group, as you can see right now. So that actually almost looks like a GIF. Oh, that is a GIF. There's another section I didn't post yet. So I always do these. I do these what I call these pop videos. I call them proof of practices. I film my practice on high speed and then I just post them. I try to do it on a daily basis in the group. Sometimes I get to it, I'm consecutive, and then sometimes I miss out on some days, but I still do my practice. I just don't post them all the time. But I've been doing it about the last week, been really consistent on it. And so there's a lot of members in our group that does the same thing. It's really awesome. And honestly, like it's super cool because it's fast. It's fast. You can't really see a lot of details, and it's just meant for showing people, hey, got my practice in, and it inspires somebody else to do it. I can't even start to tell about the amount of motivation that I personally got from the group, being training with everybody and seeing everybody pushing hard. Half the time, these guys are working harder than I am, and I see them. They're like, I did my morning practice, I did my bedtime flow, and I meditated for 30 minutes today. I'm like, I didn't even meditate for that long today. And it inspires me, really motivates me. And I'm a firm believer that leading by example. If I go ahead and show somebody how to do something, I need to lead by example. And it's not about competing. Hey, who's going to do more. It's about feeling inspired to do it. Feeling like, you know what, I feel really good. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm now going to go ahead and get mine done. There are days where I would want to skip my practice, and then I'm checking through the messages and I see all of these practice done texts, which is basically practice done text is we have a system that's really simple. When someone do their practice, they just send a message in, 60-minute practice done or 7-minute practice done, and they elaborate if they like, but they don't have to. And as I'm scrolling through it, I respond and I'm thinking, I'm tired today. I haven't even done my practice. So I put the phone down. I do at least a 7-minute practice, and then I jump in, 7-minute practice done. Okay. All right. And, there are a lot of days like that. We started this group only maybe 4 months, maybe 5 months now, I think. Time flies. And it's just been wonderful. It's been really wonderful. It's been helping so many people stay accountable. We operate like a family because there's a lot of us are on there every single day. So I just posted that, and it's great. That's the biggest thing, most important thing about training is getting around other people that train, getting around the people that care about taking care of their body. They care about being positive and and just being mindful and having a high level of awareness. They actually care about these things. And when we're around people like that, it's just really nice to be able to share the progress that we're having, share the thoughts, share the lessons that we've learned, share our experiences, share the new things that we're discovering. And because everybody's got different lives, and so the shares are really, really interesting, different perspectives. I learned so much from everybody. It's just amazing. We share from books to videos to all kinds of stuff, quotes, pictures. So it's really great. So I'm really excited, guys, for day 7 today. We're going to be focusing today in our practice. It's going to be 60 minutes. And so you guys are experiencing a lot of what we do in FlowTribe, where today it's 60-minute practice, but it'll be different than yesterday's. Today's 60-minute practice, we're going to be focusing heavily a lot in part 1. So part 1 is where we're opening up the energy flow. We're focusing a lot on the breathing, focusing a lot on vibrational type of movements. And we're going to be focusing on doing a lot of taps, a lot of these movements, and we're going to spend a lot of time in them. So instead of it being normally, if we were to do a 60-minute practice, we would do about a minute per each exercise, give or take. So today we're going to be spending at least about 2 minutes, maybe even 3 minutes. And what happens is, for example, if we are spending time today in taps, so we're tapping our body. So what we're wanting to do as we're tapping our body is, over time, two things are going to happen. Either our body is going to respond with a fight or flight response. It's going to tighten up and offend because it feels like it's being attacked. It's either going to do that, and when that happens, great, we focus on letting it go. Or your body's going to be able to stay really, really relaxed. And that's because you're consciously controlling it, consciously commanding it to relax, commanding it to go ahead and stay calm. And so what happens is, as we were talking about before when we first started this challenge, our bodies need to be stimulated. You know, it needs to be stimulated. We need to have some type of physical touch. You know, it needs movement, and it also needs stimulation. Movement alone is not enough. We need to actually physically, the body needs to physically be in contact with things throughout the day. Because if we don't have that on a daily basis, our nervous system starts to respond much lower. And then when we do have physical contact, it freaks out. It's like, oh, that's hurts. It's so hard. It's like, what do you mean it's so hard? It's like, you guys ever lay on the ground and the ground feels hard? You guys ever experience that? You know, you lay on the ground, it's like, oh man, it hurts. But let's think about that for a second. It's the ground. Like, it's not like we're laying on spikes or something. Why would our body hurt sitting on the ground, laying on the ground? If we really take a step back, and I know culturally we have been conditioned to lay on these super memory foam, jelly, all kinds of things, and that being normal. But if we really think about it, what does that say about our body if our body can't get in contact with the actual regular ground? Not even outside with rocks. We're just talking about a tile floor, a wood floor, you know, a concrete floor, just a regular ground that's flat, perfectly smooth. And yet our body will still feel pain. Our bones would ache. And this is because we don't give our bodies enough physical contact. Our nervous system is too sensitive. There's no resiliency to stress, no resiliency to the actual physical surfaces and physical touch. And so a lot of part one is focusing on increasing the resiliency to that. So then, first of all, this will help you be able to connect to your body more. Because when you connect to your body, because when you're able to build up that resiliency, you're stimulating your body constantly, you start to increase more awareness in the body. You start to feel more of the body. And at the same time, the resiliency for stress and the resiliency for physical touch, that starts to increase a lot. And also, you don't get injured as often anymore. You can fall, you can bump into things, and you'll find that your body is actually getting really, really tough. I want to share a quick story here before we get started today on it. I didn't realize that this was going to be one of the effects, you know, really honest. I was focusing on relaxing, focusing on getting rid of the tension. And I started doing a lot of the movements that we do in part one training. And about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, about a year and a half to 2 years in, I was working on my van. You know, I lived in a van and traveled around the US for about a year. And there was a day I was working on the van, and this 2x4 that was maybe about like 6 feet, 7 feet long, it slid out from the top, like almost right where the ceiling of the van is, came and it hit my back, just slid it off, and just the edge of it, not even the side, the edge jammed, just hit my back, it just hit me. And I was like, ow. It hurt for a sec. I was like, oh, okay. But it wasn't throbbing pain, so I didn't think anything of it. So then maybe 5 seconds later, another one comes down, it hits my hamstrings. And I was like, whoa, what's going on up there? So then I made sure nothing else is going to fall down. And then I just went on and just kept on going. And it didn't occur to me until maybe about a minute later that I just got hit by a 2x4 that came flying down from maybe about 6-7 feet, you know, and it didn't even faze me. Like, I felt it, and then the pain came, and then it was gone. And then another experience was, I was really, really tired. I was sleeping in the van, and we pulled up to the store, and I just woke up maybe 10 minutes ago. And if you ever lived in a van, you wake up, you drive, you get somewhere, you're still half asleep, you know? So I step out of the van, and I trip a little bit and I hit the ground from about maybe 2 feet or so. When you step down, I tripped and I hit the concrete, like rocks and everything. My head hit the ground. I just stood back up. I just brushed off a little bit of blood, not too much, a little bit. And I was like, ow, that hurt. And I just kept on walking. And the pain, I was so surprised, because if that happened, usually it would be pretty painful and it would throb, and the pain left within about 30 seconds. 30 seconds, like every single moment that throbbing was going down at rapid speeds. And I injured myself all the time back in the day, and I know how it feels. And it went away so fast, and there was still a scratch, there was still a bump, but the pain was gone really quickly. And it didn't faze me. Like, I just dropped, I just got back up, brushed off a little bit of blood, and I just walked into the store. And I started thinking, something is up. What is happening? I'm getting injured. This is happening, but I'm not, like, it's not fazing me. And I started to put things together and see, what am I doing? And the only thing I can relate to is I'm doing this every single day. You know, I'm physically, and I started thinking, well, this makes a lot of sense. You ever watch, UFC, and you watch these fighters, anybody that trains in martial arts, these guys are taking punches and kicks and elbows, and they're slamming to the ground. And we all know that you take a normal person off the street and you have them go take a couple punches. They take one punch and stuff, they're throbbing. They may even go unconscious. They fall a couple times, they're over. How do these guys keep doing it? And we're not saying, right now, we don't want to go and just start fighting everybody, but it's about the idea that their bodies have become conditioned because of the type of training that they do. And so I was thinking, so I realized, wow, this is actually what's happening. I'm not interested in going and take martial art classes and all this stuff. I just want to stay healthy and stay fit. However, this moves of tapping and these moves of what I'm doing, this part one, is making my body really, really resilient to pain, to physical stress, and to injuries. So that's when I started looking into it. I started focusing more. And that's when I started going even harder on some of the moves. And I even went as hard, because I always test it out. I test it out and I push to extreme to see where my boundaries are, which is one of the principles we teach about, which is expanding your limitations. So usually when I'm doing, let's say, a twist, I would do like how we've been doing it. I just go regular, about like this. This is kind of my regular speed. But as I was testing this out, I'm like, okay, so these physical touches are increasing the resiliency. Let me see how strong my body can get. So then I just started doing this. I would just go and I would do this. And I would do this nonstop for maybe about like 5 minutes, sometimes longer. And I would just keep going. And literally, my body would get red. I would bruise my body. And I'll just do it. And I started to push the limits. And I started realizing some things. My body's ability to go ahead and handle pain has significantly went through the roof. And I'm not a fighter. I don't do any of that stuff. I just exercise. But simply because I'm doing these movements that were designed to open up my energy, my body's getting really, really strong. But also I realized that it was harder for me to get bruised. It was harder for me to get bumps, all these things. My body was able to handle that. So it started becoming really fascinating. So those are some of the side benefits that I discovered. And again, we're not here to focus on that. Our goal here is to re-energize the body, get our bodies to be healthy, to be strong, to be flexible. But I thought it would be interesting for you guys to know, if you do this practice, you will become incredibly strong in your ability to handle physical impact. So that's something, as a lot of people, as they get older, they start to get worried. What happens if I trip? What happens if I fall? What happens if I get hurt? But imagine when you do this practice every single day, you don't worry anymore. You don't worry that I'm going to climb this thing. I'm climbing up this ladder. I'm in this high place. What if I fall? Well, you know what? What if I fall? I fall. No big deal. I'll just stand back up. I fell the other day off of a ladder, actually. And my neck hurt for one day, and that was it. No, not off the ladder, off of I was on the ladder, and then I was on a hammock. I tied up these new hammocks outside. and I was laying on it to test it out. And I was literally about 6-7 feet off the ground, and I was testing it out. When it's good, I did, because it broke, like the tie went loose, and I dropped to the ground, just flat onto my back, and my neck whipped back. And I got back up. I was like, okay, well, that didn't work. Let me retie it now. And the next day I had a sore neck. And then the next day after that, it was gone. So I had sore neck for one day, and that's falling from about 6-7 feet in the air. So a lot of these things, I've learned when we train our bodies, we want to feel energized, we want to feel strong, we want to feel flexible. But we also want to be able to build that resiliency into injury, because that's another aspect of strength. I used to think that strength is all about lifting weights and looking strong. But when I was 20 pounds bigger with more muscle, 20 pounds more muscle, I was weaker in my ability to handle pain and physical stress, physical impact than I am now. And I clearly remember I stopped sleeping on soft mattresses about maybe 6.5 years ago, because one day I was laying down on the ground, and I was 20 pounds bigger at the time. I'm laying down on the ground, and I remember being in pain, and I couldn't find a comfortable position to just hang out on the ground while I was having a conversation. I remember my head thinking, something's wrong with this. I'm so strong in the gym, lifting hundreds of pounds and stuff. I'm deadlifting 300 pounds for reps, benching all this weight, and I can't even lay on the ground. That's just silly. That's something is wrong. So the next day I got rid of my mattress, and I laid a couple blankets on the ground. I started sleeping on the ground like that. And then eventually I got a foam topper, one of those memory foam toppers of about, I think I used a 2-inch, used a 3-inch. I want to use a 2, but my lady wasn't really happy about that, so we compromised. 3-inch topper on the ground. So then we got the best of both worlds. You're able to be soft, but at the same time, your body doesn't sink in. So this way you're still able to have some type of structure support for your spine and for your bones. Kind of a trade-off. Now, personally, for me, if I was single and didn't have anybody sleeping with me, I would sleep on a much harder surface. But sometimes in life, you got to compromise. So, all right, guys, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be going to our practice. Okay. Let's put it back here. Just setting the timer. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and start. So let's start off with our hops first. Let's go ahead and shake the body. Remembering to exhale every time you come down through your nose, and raising your shoulders up every time you come up. So today we're going to be also focusing on that tension. So we're going to focus on releasing that tension when we feel it. Okay, so now let's go into our tapping. So let's start off with our lower body tap. So let's go ahead, we're going to stay in tapping for a little bit. Let's take our time. And remember, you can tap with a slap, you can tap with a closed fist, and use any part of your hand. Just look at your hand as a tool that you can use any part of it to create the impact. Now, a tip is to relax when you're tapping. Remember, use the least amount of tension, the least amount of energy to create the most amount of pressure that you're comfortable with. Because you can go as hard as you like, or you can go as soft as you like. you're going to find that some areas of your body are much more tender than others. And as you're tapping, I want you to bring your awareness into your body and feel if you're getting that stress response, if you're getting that fight or flight response. The way it feels like, and we all know how it feels like, there's this jumpiness in the body. You know, you ever get scared, you go, you know, there's that jumpiness. Your physical body on the outside may not move, but there's that jumpiness on the inside. So feel your body and see if that's happening. And if that's happening, I want you to breathe. Breathing in and out through the nose right now is best. Let's go to our lower back. So breathing in and out through your nose, I want you to breathe. I want you to actively, consciously focus on relaxing while still continue with the tapping. And you're going to have to reserve your energy. Remember, because we're going to be tapping for a little while. So just do the best you can. Keep your arms loose. Let's go to our stomach. You're going to find that your traps, your shoulders, your upper back, they start to get tired. So what we're doing is now we are getting your body to have to relax those areas in order to keep tapping. So what happens is, as you're tapping every moment right now, depending on how conditioned you are, you're going to start to build a little bit of tension in your shoulders, your neck, your traps. So when you feel that tension come in, let's go to the side. When you feel that tension come in, try to relax it. What happens is you're going to bring your awareness right to that area, right to those upper back and right to those shoulders. Go to your chest. Adjust your body. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to show you an example. So you see my traps. Let me get on my knees so you guys can see. So you see my traps. My traps come up. My shoulders are tense. But I don't need my shoulders to be tense for me to do this. Now watch this. Watch my shoulders. You see? I can simply just drop my shoulders down and just do the same thing. I don't need to be like this. So often in our life, when we're moving around, we're tensing extra body parts. We're tensing extra muscles when it's not necessary. And we think this is just the way my body is built, just like this. Let's go to the left chest. But it's not. I didn't realize this in the beginning. See, I'm just going to drop my shoulders now. And then I can do exactly the same move. But now my shoulders and my traps are a lot more relaxed. You see? So this is what happens is, let's go to the other side, is we have so many areas in our body that is tensing up for no reason, simply because we're used to being tense. Because the areas that are tensing up, like our shoulders, like our upper back, those are some of the most common areas that tense up when we get stressed. Left side up. Those are some of the most common areas. And so therefore, we start to tense up these areas, and because we get stressed, we tense it up. And if we stay stressed, then we continue to go ahead and tense it up. Keep on tapping here. Keep on tapping. I'm just going to adjust this here. Hold on just a sec. Keep on tapping, guys. Doing good. Okay. So we keep tensing up, and then now the tenseness becomes normal. That becomes our normal posture. Let's go to left side of the neck. And this is why that if you look at children, they are very, very flexible. They don't even have to stretch and they're flexible because they don't have tension yet. And then when you look at people as they get older, their posture starts to change. Their posture starts to tighten up. They start to get really, really stiff. And so this isn't because of their genetics. Come down to our shoulders. You know, it's not because they're born that way. not because they have some type of, all it is because they accumulated tension and it started to constantly change their posture over time, a little by little. All the years of sitting from a desk, all the years of having bad posture, and instead of trying actively, consciously to correct it, they just don't care. They're not aware of it. And the thing is, when we're not feeling our bodies, when we're not very connected to the body, it's really hard to tell. Because if you can't connect to the body, you can't feel it, then the only way you're able to tell is if someone tells you something, and then you got to carry enough on the way your posture looks, or you go to the doctor because you have some type of problem. They tell you that you're carrying too much tension in your body. You got to adjust this, you got to adjust that. But when we start to increase the connection to our body, and we start to feel our body, let's go to the other side now. Right arm up. Now we're able to feel that tension because we're conditioning our body to increase the sensitivity to the feelings in our body. We're practicing every single day. By doing this practice every day, you condition your body to become calmer, to become more relaxed. That becomes your default state. That's normal now. Every day when you do this practice, it becomes more normal to feel relaxed. And then when you feel more relaxed as your norm, you have tenseness that come up because you get stressed or get frustrated about something. Oh, you feel it. It's not going to sneak by you. You don't need a mirror to see if your posture has changed. You don't need someone telling you that. You instantly feel it when it comes up. You'll be sitting there and someone says something to you and it upsets you, and instantly you can feel that tension come in through your body. You can feel your stomach tighten up. You can feel your lower back suddenly start to get tight. You can feel your toes cringe in. It's not just going to be this reaction thing. You are conscious of it now. Let's go to the right side of that neck. And that's what you want to be. You want to have that level of awareness. Because now your body is signaling to you. Now you're able to hear that signal. See, our bodies are constantly signaling. But most of the time, people have a hard time receiving that signal because they lack the connection to the body. So when we're tapping like this, we are literally telling our body, hey, go ahead and wake up. I'm here. I'm going to be conscious of all the areas that I'm tapping. I'm giving you a lot of attention now. And as our body is scared, as our body is tightening up, because it's going ow, 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 ow. What's happening? I'm not used to this impact. Are you hurting me? That's what our body might say. And therefore, when it says that, it's okay. Maybe you need to go a little lighter. Okay, and if you do, no big deal. We always do what's comfortable. But then we calm it down, and by being calm while we are experiencing this impact, experiencing this stress, we're letting the body know it's okay. This is safe. You're not going to get any more injured. You're not going to get injured. And so we start to condition the body. Our body starts to actually trust ourselves. Because in reality, a lot of people don't have good control of their body. These reactions of constantly jumping, this armor that we build, internally, we're like this a lot of times, So we get to let that go. And the way we let it go right now is simply by giving our body some light stimulation. And once we get used to the light stimulation, we give it a little harder and a little harder. And then it's up to you at that point. Let's go to our head. It's up to you that point on how much stimulation you want to give your body, how much impact you want to give your body. There's no right way or wrong way. There's no good and bad. Some people like to go really extreme, and they may even get into some extreme sports, or they get into grappling or wrestling or martial arts or whatever it is, Acro yoga is really awesome because you're spinning around and you're on top of somebody's foot, you're being lifted, you're receiving a lot of this pressure. And if you're first time doing it, you can tell, like, ow, my body hurts. So you get conditioned. So you get to decide at that point. Let's go and spend some time and let's tap the entire head. Try to cover every single square inch of your head. And then there's some of us that we don't care about being that extreme, you know? We just want to be healthy, we want to be strong, we want to be generally fit. We want to have that resiliency, but we don't care to do something extreme because all of us have a certain amount of time every single day, you know? And what we do with our time is up to us. And these things do take time, so we got to have a balance. But it's good to know our body can respond, and the way that we can strengthen our body, strengthen the resiliency, is through simple movements like this. And tap massage is one of the best. And it's been around forever, thousands and thousands of years. I won't take credit and say that I created tap massage. Oh, that is silly. It's been around forever. There are so much studies on tapping. Let's go to the years and all kinds of forms of tapping. Remember on the ears, if you have sensitive ears, tap more on the outside, tap a little lighter, use maybe more of your fingertips than the palm. Let's move on to our face now. So the face, and spend some time tapping your whole entire face. Move around between your jaw, your whole face, down to your mouth, cheeks. The face was a place that I have seen a lot of improvement in my resiliency. When I first started tapping the face, I couldn't tap it really hard. It hurt, you know, I'm really honest, it hurt. And I was tapping very, very lightly, and I couldn't do it for very long either, because it stung, it really hurt. Other parts of my body was used to it, my face was not. But just like anything else, I didn't focus on trying to tap it really hard and try to increase the strength of it. No, I just do it every day. And now I can tap the face much harder, and it feels fine. Now it feels good. My face is used to it now. Let's come up to the top of the head. So natural progression. Consistency. All you do is just focus on consistency and your body will naturally progress. Woo! Good job, guys. And I'm sure all of our hairs are all over the place. So, all right. Let's go ahead. So I definitely feel the soreness here in my shoulders, a little bit here in the neck. Now, so good job. That was definitely a good tap session. Our body's getting really warmed up. So now from here, let's go into our up and down breathing. So our head comes up, inhale through the nose, head comes down, exhale through the mouth, making a sound shh. Okay, we're gonna do about 30 times. All right, let's begin. All right, let's take a deep breath in through the nose as your head comes up. Hold your breath. You can put your hands on your hips, and let's just slowly rotate our neck around in a circle. Nice and easy. Helping our neck become more loose. Let's go the other direction. And continue to hold your breath if you can. And if you need to exhale, feel free to exhale. And remember, always be safe when you're doing breath retention. If you have a history, let's turn to our right and left. If you have a history of feeling dizzy, indigo, fainting, any of those things, be very, very careful. Take it a little step at a time. Don't try to push to the extreme. Your body will progress just by doing this every day. Let's go ahead and exhale now, if you haven't exhaled yet. Okay. We're gonna go through our longevity exercises, face massage really quick, so we can go into some of the other movements, spend more time in there. Let's go up and down the nose. Now let's go around the eyes, direction of our eyebrows. And now let's go around the ears. Now both directions. Let's go around the nose, circular direction, both ways. Charge up the hands really quick. Make a knuckle, press on that temple, press and hold, 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 and release. Hard pressure point under the nose, hold, hold, press, 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 and release. Okay, so we'll skip the eye circles and tons today, and we're gonna go right into our drop down arms. So let's just warm up our wrists really quick here. All right, guys, let's go into some drop down arms now. Find that rhythm. Take your time. We're gonna be in this move for at least about 2 minutes here. Bring your awareness to your traps, to your upper back, and to your shoulders. And if you feel any tension there, focus on adjusting the movement. Focus on relaxing that area. Just like what I was showing you guys when I was tapping my chest and how my shoulders shrugged up like that. And that all I did was just let go of my shoulders, and I can still continue to do the same thing. This is the same way. If I was going to give you an example on how it would look like if my shoulders and my traps were really tense, it would look like this. I don't know if you guys can see the difference here. See, this is with the tenseness like that. And now dropping it down, I can do the same thing. See my shoulders? So there are a lot of areas in our body that we are unconscious of the tension. And one of the benefits, there are many benefits in doing this movement, especially for an extended period. But one of the benefits is the areas of tension, they start to stick out. And then we realize, wow, I never realized I was tense in that area. And the first thing to change, to create any change, is identifying what it is that we want to change. And so therefore, if we don't know that we're tense in a certain area, then how can we let go in that area? We have to first realize we're tense. And when you're doing something like a drop down arms like this, remember to constantly breathe still. So I can't do it while I'm talking. So remember to exhale every time you drop down with your arms through your nose, okay? So when you identify that tenseness, now you can let it go. And you're gonna have to, because you cannot do this for very long if you tense up your body. However, on the other hand, if you're really good at relaxing, you will be able to do this much longer. Guys are doing great. Connect to that body. This is also another way to help you connect to the. So when you're practicing body scanning, which is when you're bringing your awareness to your body and you're connecting to the way the body feels on the inside, connecting to different parts of your body. You can connect to the surface of your body or the inside. So when we're doing these movements, because we're doing these movements in a very relaxed way, a very calm way, it helps us connect to it. If we were doing this in a very tense way, when we're tense, it's really hard to connect to the body. It's really hard for vibrations to pass through the body. When we're tense, we actually stop the vibrations. We limit the vibrations. And so when we're loose like that, like this right now, we can increase the vibrational frequency throughout the body. And that, accompanied with the movement, really helps us connect to the body. So now let's keep this rhythm, and we're going to transition into heart openers. Okay, guys, ready? In 3, 2, 1, and come together. Go into some heart openers now. Exhaling every time we come together. Arms are super loose. And when you're doing these movements, you always start off with your hand first. Is my hand really, really relaxed and loose? Yes, check. My forearms. And see, as I'm saying this, I'm bringing my awareness to these areas. So right now, I'm connected to my forearms, and I'm feeling the way my forearm feels. Is there tension there? And right now, I feel the tension right here. Just this forearm right in this section here. Okay, not on this one, just this one, you know? And I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it right now. And so it's like, okay, so there's tension right there. Okay, cool. So now I try to focus on letting it go. Okay. So then once we connect to the forearm, it's like, okay, now let's connect to our arms, our biceps and our triceps. Let's focus on that. Is there any tension there? If we do, let it go. And after that, let's focus on our shoulders. Are we doing that shoulder thing again till our shoulders are shrugged up and tense higher than it needs to, right? Are we doing this? See my shoulders? If we are, drop them down. Drop them down. Right? It's like, okay, shoulders, check, feeling good. Then we keep traveling up. So what's next, right? Upper back, traps. The next thing that's connected here, all right? So we feel our traps right now. And now that becomes the challenge here. This movement here is engaging your traps. And so I'm going to turn around here so this is what you guys can see. So this is a way that you can work on your traps. So keep going, guys. I'm just going to show you. Keep on moving. So if I was to do this, if I do this, I'm tensing. I can tense up my traps. I can tense up my upper back when I do this. This is an exercise. You grab a weight and you do this, right? So therefore, if I'm opening up like this and I stay tense, then it will be very hard to do this for a lot of repetitions, you know? So therefore, now I have to relax that area. I have to relax the entire upper back for me to do this movement. And so when you're able to do this movement for 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, you just put a timer. Literally, you set a timer and you sit there, you relax, and you just start going. And you can be like right now, you have a conversation with somebody, you're on the phone with somebody, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You don't even have to pay a lot of attention when you get really good at it because you're really connected to the body. We just put a timer, you just do it. And you'll be amazed at how by doing a long duration, you're teaching your body how to let go in these areas. You guys are doing great. And remember to exhale every time you come together. Remember that breathing. The breathing is essential for this movement because that helps increase the oxygen flow in the body, helps clear things, open things up in the body. It helps the body release. So that's why we incorporate the breathing. So exhaling every time you come together. And when you're exhaling, the reason why you exhale when you come together is because now you're closing up your lungs, you're closing up your chest, you're closing up the air capacity. And then when you open up, you inhale. And as you practice this, you'll find that you're able to inhale without any effort. And that you just focus on the exhale, and the inhale happens naturally. All right, good job, guys. Now let's go into the twist. Remembering to exhale on each side. And remember to listen to your body here. feel where the tension is at. There's a good chance you may feel the tension still around your upper back, traps area, and also in the midsection, lower back, sides. So as I'm doing this right now, we go through the same process first because our arms is primarily the one that's moving. And that on top of the core. So I start off with the arms. Same thing, remove the tension. I connect to my hands, forearms, arms, make sure there's no tension there. And then from there, connect to my shoulders. Okay, that's good. And now from there, I connect to my stomach. I'm bringing my awareness right now to my stomach and also to my lower back. Is there any extra tension there? And if there is, let me relax. So here's one of the things, right? When we're doing this movement, one of the areas to focus on relaxing is your stomach. Because we're not swinging super hard. We're just basically turning, you know? And we can even, our legs are helping us with the turn as well. So if we're turning really hard, we would need to go and tighten up our abs to support our core. But we're not turning super hard. You see, I'm being very relaxed here. I'm not totally cranking my body really hard. And so therefore, focus on relaxing your stomach and adjust your speed, adjust the intensity of this movement. Adjust how hard you're doing it. If you find that you're not able to relax your stomach, go softer, go slower. Keep going softer, keep going slower until you're able to let the stomach out. And then when you let the stomach out, you'll start to connect to that area, and you'll feel an increase of awareness in your gut, in your stomach. Okay, so now let's face forward. So now we're going to a mid twist. And now same idea. Let's focus on the stomach right now. Focus on it being relaxed. Don't worry about going really hard here. You see, I'm going much softer than I was here because right now my intention is not to increase the resiliency. My intention right now is to let go of tension. That's the purpose of this move right now. See, if I was to want to increase the strength and the resiliency of my body, I'll go what I was doing earlier, and I'll go harder and I'll go faster. But right now, my goal here is to connect to the body. See, I can't connect to the body as well if I was going really fast like I was. So we can use the same movements for different purposes. Okay, you see how I'm letting out my stomach right now. So I don't know if you guys can notice. So this is when I'm letting out the stomach. I'm gonna come a little closer. Maybe you guys can see better. Okay, now I'm gonna show you an example now. If my stomach was tight when I was doing it, if I'm doing this, this is what it'll look like. You see? This is a tight stomach. And this is a loose stomach. The move didn't change. And so when I tightened up my stomach, instantly I felt my lower back tighten up as well. It just happened simultaneously because that's our entire core. And therefore, when I loosened up my stomach, instantly, yeah, you're right, my lower back also loosened up as well. And so if we're carrying a lot of tension in our lower back, a lot of that has to do with our stomach constantly being too tight. And if our stomach is too tight, we can't breathe through our stomach. It's really difficult now to breathe through the nose because when you breathe through the nose, your air goes into your stomach. And so your stomach expands out when air comes in through the nose, and then your stomach gets smaller as you push air out. But if you tighten up your stomach all the time, then air can't expand out, so you can't breathe very deeply through your nose. So even if you try, it'll be really difficult. Therefore, we lose a lot of the effectiveness, a lot of the benefits of actually breathing through our nose. And then on top of that, we end up tensing our lower back. You guys are doing great. Remember to also exhale on every side. And you'll find that maybe sometimes it's a little difficult to find the rhythm between getting the movement, relaxing, staying calm, loosening up the stomach, exhaling at the same time. It's like a lot of moving parts. And so it's okay. Focus on one thing at a time. I'm here to just remind you on different things. But for you that are doing it, focus on one area at a time. Get it down. The most important thing to focus on is just staying calm, staying relaxed, and letting go of tension. And finding a nice rhythm. All right, so you guys are doing good. So now we're gonna go into side-to-side hips now. So find this rhythm here. We're gonna stay with the same rhythm. We're gonna switch in 3, 2, 1. So now see the arms to the side. There's a purpose of switching and staying with the same rhythm. Our energy flows. Imagine the blood flow and the flow of energy and the speed that is flowing in. We change the speed of the flow inside our body with our movement. And if we go from fast to slow to medium and fast to super slow and still, it's not that bad. It doesn't get us into a nice flow. It doesn't feel as comfortable. It doesn't make it as easy. But if we stay with a certain flow of energy, a certain speed, you'll find it to be a lot easier to stay in the state of flow. So therefore, that's why we always try to transition from exercise to exercise. The same amount of speed, the best we can. We won't be able to do it with all the exercises, but there are some that we can do it in. So we just do the best we can. So remember, we're gonna exhale on each side or every other side. Every time we move our hips to the side, we exhale. So sound like this. Or you can do it every other side if every side feels a little fast. Let's move our arms now towards the front. So now, in order for us to continue doing this, number one is our arms, especially our shoulders, again, have to be really loose. And because our shoulders is connected to our upper back, so here again, we are directly focusing on relaxing that upper back. And we're making it stronger because of the movement we're actually doing. We are raising our arms, and even though we don't have a weight, but our arms will eventually start to feel a little heavy. And so how do we adjust when our arms feel heavy? We focus on lifting it with less tension. We focus on moving our body. So you see, so we go from here to now, I'm just kind of lifting my arm. So what I'm doing here, you can keep going. You see, instead of lifting my arm like this, I'm lifting my body and the arm's just kind of coming up. So now we're connecting the body, you see. These are a lot of progressions that happen naturally. All right. Good job, guys. Okay, so now let's go into some hip circles. So we're gonna take our time. We're gonna really feel the hips. Stand back a little bit. So remember, we're drawing a circle on the ground. But we're taking our time and we're feeling how it feels like at every part of the rotation. You can almost like feel the bones when you pay attention, right? You feel the joints moving. You feel the joints kind of pivoting and touching. It can feel like they're grinding. So if you feel any type of pain in certain areas, then that's where you have tension, that's where it's tight. So therefore, take it a little easier in that area and focus on seeing if you can relax your glutes. So if you're feeling tension, you can relax your glutes. I feel it a little bit on each side here, right about there. This part here and about this part here. And I've been doing a lot of training, so my body's a little sore. So I can feel in those areas. And so that's in our hip area. So now in our knees, we do the same thing. Are we feeling any pressure in the knees? Is there any part of the circle here that doesn't feel good, has some pain? And if we do, we pay a lot of attention to it. We're increasing our awareness by giving it that tension, taking it easy on that part of the movement. All right, let's go the other direction. And we bring our attention also to other parts of the body and the upper body. What areas do we not need to be tense? So let's say my arms doesn't need to be tense, but I don't need my arms for this. So therefore, I'm going to drape my arms down and relax as much as I can, giving my arms a break. We've been moving our arms a lot. So let's think, does our traps need to be tense right now? All right, does it need to? Are we really using it in that way? Does our upper back need to be tense? All right, it doesn't look like we're using it much. A lot of our movement's pivoting between the core area. How about the stomach? Well, every time I do here, our stomach has to stay tense by default, right? So therefore, we can't fully loosen up the stomach here. Okay, and that's fine then, right? So then we don't worry about it. Maybe it loosens up a little bit here in the back and then tightens up here a bit here at the front. And so therefore, we don't worry about that. How about our chest? Can we loosen up our chest? Yeah, doesn't take any muscles here to do that. You see, so we start to identify, and these practices of identifying what areas it actually takes to do certain movements. Right now, we're doing hip circles. But in everyday life, we're walking around, and we're lifting things, and we're squatting, and we're moving around, and we start to become aware, what areas of my body do I really need to be tense right now? And that is such a huge part of reserving energy or increasing the energy. Remember, you can drink a lot of coffee, you can go ahead and try to re-energize yourself big time, but if you're constantly tense for no reason, no need, then it's like that bucket with a hole on the bottom and you try to fill it up. So now by doing these practices, we are identifying where are these holes in our body? Where are these areas of tension? And then we identify, we start to practice on relaxing it, loosening it. All right, good job, guys. Okay, so now let's go into our kidney bounce. Top of the wrist on top of the kidney. Slightly press down a little, not very hard. And let's go ahead and do our bouncing. Exhale every time you come down. So let's go ahead and identify the areas here. So as you start to do this, we're doing the same thing, focusing on what areas are tense, trying to make this as easy as possible, using the least amount of energy to create the most amount of movement. And remember that if your body is burning, getting sore in certain areas, first thing to do is adjust your movements. Make your movements slower, make your movements less intense. But if the burning and the soreness doesn't go away, simply just relax. There is a part of this that does have to do with the condition of the body. And because I do these movements every day, so it feels really effortless. And I know if this is your first time or your first week of doing this, your body still needs to get conditioned as well. So we don't push our bodies, we don't force it. We do the best we can. We challenge it up to about 70%. And then we just let nature take care of itself. Get to sleep, our bodies fully recover, and we will grow a little bit stronger every day. So over time here, you start to find this rhythm. And you'll find that right now, my pressure here, there's a little bit of tension here in the front of the shoulders, right here, because of the pressure. But it's not a lot. Like you see, like I'm pushing at the muscle right now. There's some tension, but it's not really hard because I'm not pushing at it really hard. But what areas else is tense? Legs, right? There's a little bit of tenseness in the legs, in the calves. Okay, how about our stomach? Does that need to be tense? No. Why? Well, because we are supporting our back also with our hands. So this has created this leverage. So let's see what it looks like, right? So if I'm tense, this is what it looks like. See, my abs are tight, and now I feel my lower back. So now I'm gonna come up a little closer so you guys can see. All right, so this is tight abs. So now I'm gonna go ahead and loosen up my stomach. There you go. All right. So also your upper back, you'll feel some as well. All right, so now let's go into our stomach massage. Everything stays the same. You're still exhaling through the nose. All you're doing is now pressing into your stomach. Hands on the side, press in, and lift up your chest slightly. That will help make your stomach just a little bit more sucked in. You don't have to really suck it in. You just kind of lift up just a little bit. And what that means is if you're like this, your stomach comes out. But if you're like this, you see, if I just lift up my chest a little bit, automatically the stomach comes in. If I slouch like this, automatically the stomach comes out. So lifting it up just allows me to be able to reach into my stomach a little bit more. And then from there, I'm doing this with my hands. Okay, pressing on the side and crossing my hands over like this. Okay, that's what I'm doing here. You see? So there's other ways to do this. There's other ways to go ahead and do this also. Find what's comfortable for you. The concept is basically pressing into your stomach. So now I'm pressing into my stomach using my fingers. I'm gonna come up a little bit closer. So I'm pressing into my stomach now. All right. Sometimes I press in through the side. Sometimes I press in through the front. And then you can adjust it. If you come up a little bit higher, now you're pressing more in your upper abdominal. And vice versa. You can go a little lower around your belly button. My stomach feels really good today. Really good. Nothing inside right now at all. Even better than yesterday. Yesterday was good. Today is even better. That's because last night I ate very light and I went to sleep on a very empty stomach. I haven't had any food, just a little bit of a drink, mushroom drink, and some water. That's it. Okay, so now let's move into our arm circles. Okay, so now this could be definitely a challenge because we are using our shoulders and our upper back. So here's what we're gonna do. Imagine your arms floating upwards using the momentum. When you come down, bounce, 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 bounce. There you go. And so this one is a real big challenge for the upper back, especially after all that we did. So we won't stay in this one for too long. Exhale every time you come down. Let's go ahead and switch directions. There's something in my nose here and I can feel it. Almost out. So we start to increase our sensitivity and I can feel it all the way inside. And I'm so conditioned to where if I feel something blocked, my first instinct is just get rid of it really quick, you know? Okay, let's go and put our arms down. So let's just stand here, let's close our eyes. Relax your body. We're just gonna do a standing meditation here. Just for a minute, maybe 2. Just see how it feels. So at this point, you may feel some tingles throughout the body. It's perfectly normal. A lot of movement of blood and energy and oxygen there. So just like before, let's focus on where the tension is at. For me, I feel it in my upper back, my traps. And the areas that we feel it, we just relax it. And also a trick is sometimes if we can't relax certain areas really well, we can focus on relaxing the areas that we have better control of. And when we relax, the more areas of our body we relax and we let go of the tension, it creates a chain reaction and helps us relax other areas that we don't have as good of a control in as yet. Breathing in and out through the nose. As you feel any type of tension come up, focus on letting it go. I'm feeling the tension right now in my left and right calf and both feet. Bring your awareness to your face. And let go of any tension you have there. All right. So now, let's go ahead and sit down. I'm going to just keep my eyes closed. So we're going to go into part 3 now. We're going to focus now into stretching, same intention. So go ahead and just close your eyes now. So let's go into our forward fold. So focus on relaxing. The goal here is not to go and see how far we can stretch. The goal here is just focus on being calm. Breathe in and out through the nose only. gauge your calmness based on your breathing. Our breath is one of the best indicators for the state of our body, whether we're stressed or whether we're calm. We can tell by simply being aware of our breath. How smooth is your breathing right now? Breathe in gently. Breathe in with gentleness and exhale with gentleness. Softly. And just kind of let your body just fall forward wherever it falls. This is where my body falls forward to. Now, if I wanted to pull my body using my hands while holding onto my feet, I can go farther. Right now, I'm just letting my body just fall into it. Wherever it lands is where it lands. Doesn't matter. What I'm really focused on is just relaxing my body, focusing on my breathing. Being gentle and soft, smooth. It doesn't have to be too deep. You'll find that when you're really, really calm, your breathing is not super deep, especially in a position like this. So now let's go ahead and sit up nice and slow. We're going to take it easier. We're going to go really slow with these movements. Transition nice and slow. Let's go into our pancake split. So just feet out. Put our hands in the middle, touch the floor, and let's just walk our hands out to wherever they go. And bring your awareness to your breathing, in and out through the nose, and also into your body, focusing on being calm, focusing on relaxing. Anytime when some type of thought may come in, anytime when your mind may drift, just bring your attention right back into the breathing first, and then to your body second. And then you'll spend time focusing on both your body and your breathing. Your awareness, your attention is split between the two. Your eyes are closed, which helps you connect more with both. Let's go ahead and come up nice and easy. And let's do a right leg stretch. So same way, we're just gonna fall into it wherever we land. And when we feel the tension, we're not trying to push at it. We're relaxing, but we're not trying to go really far. We just want to fall into wherever it's at. Once we feel that tension, we just kind of stop right there. Today's stretching session, and it's just focused on relaxing. We're using the least amount of muscles. We're tensing the least amount of muscles to do each stretch. Don't worry so much about your posture. You see here I'm using, well, you don't have to see it here, but I'm leaning on my elbow just so I can go ahead and relax my body even more. Now let's go to the other side. So we're going to use our hands to support us so we don't have to tense up as much muscles. Now let's go to our left leg stretch. Just notice how relaxed your hand is, your forearms are, how relaxed your chest is, your stomach. How relaxed your feet is. Your feet were working hard today. Let's go ahead and slowly come up towards the center. Again, using our hands to support us. Now we're going to go into our side bend to the right. Leaning our right shoulder towards our right knee. Making sure that we're supporting our neck, we're not whipping our neck to the side. Then we're just going to drape our left arm towards our right leg, right foot. Our right hand is rested close to our left inner thigh. Just falling into the stretch. We're breathing calmly, breathing really gentle, really soft. Now let's switch sides. So put your hands or forearms in the middle of the floor as you support the core, your body. And now let's go to a side bend to the left. Just leaning our left shoulder onto our left knee. And letting our right arm hang towards our left foot or ankle. Our left hand is really close to our right inner thigh.
Activity completed.
All right, let's go ahead and come up towards the center. And now we're just going to bend the right leg. And we're going to go to the pigeon. We don't even have to do too much. I'm just bending the right leg. And now I'm just going to lean towards my right knee, lean towards my right thigh. I'm just going to slightly get into the pigeon, but I'm just on the side here. So I'm not even in a full pigeon. I'm kind of just leaning towards my right thigh. Now let's go ahead and switch sides. So let's just come back up. Go into bend our left leg. And just slightly extend out the right. I'm just going to fall into this left leg now. Almost like a pigeon, but to the side. And now let's go ahead and sit up. Now from here, we're just going to go right into a seated position. And from here, we're just going to go into a short meditation. We're connecting to that calmness, connecting to that stillness inside. And so we would just sit for a few minutes here. And now, whenever you're ready, slowly open your eyes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Day 7 of our 10-day challenge. That's a great practice.